What's in my bags when I pack for Japan? Each time I go, I optimize my bags more and more, and I've been minimizing my packing so I can maximize in Japan. Today, I'll share with you all my tips and tricks as we pack for Japan.
The next station is Tokyo.
Hey guys, Hoang here, and today we are going to talk about how I pack for Japan. If you are just overwhelmed with the thought of packing for Japan, then this is a step-by-step guide of how I pack for my trip. This is a more specific guide revolving around how I travel as a photographer and a content creator, but these packing tips should be able to help you as well, regardless of what kind of traveler you are. I'll be talking about the specific products that I use, and I wanted to say that this video is not sponsored at all. With that, let's dive into it. First off, let's start off with suitcases. I don't normally check in a suitcase as I normally bring one carry-on suitcase because for me personally, that fits my more compact travel style. I do usually like to check a suitcase or a bag on my way back though. More on that and why this is important for you in Japan in a bit. Now, I used to use this mono suitcase for my travels, but quickly realized that it had some flaws, and some of you have asked about it specifically, so let's talk about it. The suitcase itself is nice, and I like the sleek design and smooth wheels along with the button for the handle on the underside of the bar. A few years ago, Monos actually sent me this carry-on suitcase to make a video, so I unpacked it and took it on a cruise, and when I got to the boat, I realized the first flaw of this suitcase. And to me, this is the biggest one. The suitcase had so many scuff marks on it that I had to spend the next hour cleaning it up with hot water, soap, and the included scuff erase marker, which I used so much it basically disintegrated into nothing. You can see the video I made, and in that video, you can still see some of the scuff marks that I wasn't able to get rid of. I get that the suitcase is designed to be nice looking, but if I have to worry about it every single time it touches anything, or if I have to travel with an additional luggage cover just to keep it pristine, then for me, that's just too much hassle. The second flaw came up when I brought it to Japan, and this, for some reason, feels like a small suitcase to me. It advertises itself as a 40-liter suitcase, but with the design, I just couldn't seem to pack as much as I thought I should have been able to in there. And that's when I got the Nomatic method carry-on luggage. And this claims to be 20% larger than other suitcases with the same exterior dimensions. And while I don't know exactly how true that is, what I can say is that it does fit more into the same dimensions as the Monos one. The Mono suitcase is more curved around the corners here, while the Nomatic one is a bit more boxy around the corners, and that gives it a lot more space around each of the edges here. And overall, that does add more room, plus it makes it easier to fit things in a bit more cleanly. Now, why is all of this important for Japan? Well, if you are going to Japan, as I discovered when I went there with the Mono suitcase, that there is always a need for more space. I wanted as much space as I possibly could get from each bag or suitcase that I had with me, so having one that feels like it's maximizing the carry-on dimensions is key to being able to bring back as much as you possibly can. I'm not going to go through and compare all of the features of each suitcase because this is not a luggage review, but I wanted to share my thoughts on why I prefer one over the other to help if you are looking for a new suitcase. Now, something to keep in mind is that they are both fairly expensive. The Monos one starts at around $275, with the expandable one going at $325, and the Nomatic one starting at $350, and the expansion option is included. But if you are looking for a cheaper suitcase, then get a high quality one for much cheaper in Japan. Anyway, enough about suitcases, back to packing. So I usually pack around 5 days to a week's worth of clothes with the intention of washing them throughout the trip, either at my accommodation or at a coin-operated washing machine. This allows me to keep my clothes and essentials on one half of the suitcase and keep the other side free for buying things. On the other side of the suitcase, I pack this Nomatic collapsible backpack that I use as my day bag when going around Japan, and especially if I plan on buying things. The bottom compartment holds my camera equipment, and the top unfolds to become a backpack, which helps with all of these souvenirs that I get throughout the day. I also usually keep a tote bag in here as well in case I buy more than this bag can fit. The other bag that I use is my Peak Design Everyday Sling, and I have talked against bringing this bag in one of my previous videos, but I haven't gotten around to replacing mine yet, so it still goes with me. It still digs into my shoulders and makes them sore by the end of a long day of traveling, but I have gotten better at switching shoulders and carrying the bag in between, along with alternating days where I use my backpack instead. Lastly, I use the Nomatic Mckinnon camera bag as my personal item on the plane, and depending on the airline you fly, this may or may not work, as some have stricter limits on bag sizes than others, but for me, this works well and is my favorite bag for all of my travels. It's super roomy and has a lot of these compartments that I use to store my camera gear when I'm traveling. Plus, the way I have it set up, the Peak design bag fits inside of it as well. Now let's talk about the gear that I bring. I mainly use the Sony a7 IV as my main photo camera. I used to travel with a lot of lenses, but I found that for my needs, I only really need to travel with 2. So I bring the 28-200 as my everyday lens, and then the 16-30 as my wide, and this comes in handy for places like Team Lab Borderless, where I need a wide angle and a wide aperture. I used to bring the 24-70 and the 70-180 telephoto and a 50mm prime, along with more lenses, and I just quickly realized that I just don't have the time or energy to swap lenses all the time. If it's not ready to go, I will often never use it. So that's why I cut back to just using the 28-200 for the vast majority of my photos, and then a wide angle lens when I need it for minimal lens swapping. Very few photos that I take actually make it online, but a few of them are on Instagram. Some of my favorites also hang around my house as prints. Let me know if you're interested in any prints. I also use the a7 IV for some B-roll while I travel, though most of my video footage is actually taken from the Osmo Pocket 3, which I think is the perfect balance between weight and quality, as it gives you smooth 4K footage in such a small form factor. I love this camera, and if I were to recommend something for people who are looking to document their Japan trip without a steep learning curve or bringing tons of camera equipment and stuff, then this is the camera you want. It's mainly for video, but it can also do photo, but at that point I would just use your cell phone instead. You can also check out the new Osmo Pocket 4, and all of the links to everything are below, but the Osmo Pocket 3 is still extremely solid, and this is basically everything that I could need. Aside from that, I also travel with battery packs. This one is a 26,000 milliamp pack, and this one is a 10,000 milliamp pack, which is smaller, lighter, and just easier to bring around with a built-in USB-C cable. This one is great for going on long trips for an entire day while charging not only my phone, but everyone else's. And this one is lighter and more convenient and will keep my phone topped off the whole day. I also usually bring a 256 gig SD card for my a7 IV, and then a 512 gig micro SD card for the Osmo Pocket 3, which gives me plenty of room for photos and videos, at least for all my needs on the trip. If I needed additional storage, there are plenty of camera or electronic stores in Japan to get some as well. Aside from camera gear, I also bring a power brick for my USB chargers, as Japan uses the Type A outlet, which is convenient if you are from the United States, just as long as it doesn't have the third grounding prong and only has the 2 flat prongs. Just be aware that they use 100 volts instead of the US 120 volts or the EU 230 volts. I like to bring earbuds instead of the larger over-the-ear headphones because I can survive a long-haul flight with just these, and basically it's just my wallet, a debit card, and my passport on top of all that. Some other things that are good to bring are socks for walking in temples or ryokans where you are required to take your shoes off, deodorant if you need that since Japanese deodorant is weaker than ones in the West, also Advil or other medications that you may need, as similar over-the-counter medications in Japan is a lot weaker than ones in Western countries. But then again, you can still find it in a pharmacy in Japan if you need it. A coin pouch is helpful since you will end up with a lot of coins as you go around Japan, or you can do what I did and win one like this one from a gacha machine. It still has a bunch of coins from Japan. Hand sanitizer can definitely come in handy for restrooms without soap, and a handkerchief or hand towel for drying your hands in restrooms without paper towels or dryers, or for the sweat in the summer. Depending on the season, you could also bring an umbrella, but I personally wouldn't, as I would get a cheap one from a convenience store if you need it there. I also bring a hat with me for shade in the summer and warmth in the winter. As for clothes, make sure that you have layers depending on the season, as in the summer it is super hot and humid, and in the winter it is cold and windy outside, but places do like to crank up the heat inside, so you definitely want layers. Don't forget your Suitcase card if you have one of those as well. Also, situationally, I do sometimes bring a camera strap along with me if I know I'm going to a place like the Shibuya Sky, which requires a camera strap on your camera in order to bring it out. So that's pretty much what I would bring when I go around Japan. My Sony a7 IV and the Osmo Pocket 3 come along with me pretty much everywhere, either either inside of the Sling for short trips or areas where I know I won't buy things, or in the backpack for longer trips and shopping sprees. All of it folds down and compresses into the backpack and suitcase, with the Sling bag fitting inside of the backpack and the suitcase having plenty of room for things. But if I need more room, then I'll purchase an additional bag or suitcase. If I'm going to get a duffel bag, then I could get it from Donkey, or I can get it cheaper from stores like 3 Coins, and then at the airport you can wrap it and then check it in, and this is perfect for sending back clothes, plushies, or pretty much anything soft, and then you can use your luggage for the more fragile items. This is what my Japan bag looks like. What's in yours? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.